They are acknowledged for their skills and professionalism. However, they did not have an organization which can represent their interests and provide a global platform suitable to the global nature of the profession. Moreover, the Indian tech professionals can make a larger impact on India and their host countries. Thus, the need was perceived, and the discussions to launch such a global platform was discussed around in 2008, which is 15 years, by Mr. Khanderao and other professionals with others in many cities within the US and India. The thought process to start this platform again started in late 2008, early 2009. Organization's first public program was launched in USA in the Silicon Valley on 15th August 2009. So again, roughly 14 years back. Initially, the organization was launched as Information Technology Professionals for Indian Origin, so ITPIO. And as we expanded to various cities in India and in US, the organization was rebranded as Global Indian Technology Professionals Association, which you fondly known as Gitpro. So now let's talk about Gitpro's current activities. We host a number of annual conferences. Actually, this is our one after COVID, the first one after COVID. In addition to the annual conference, Gitpro also hosts a number of monthly events throughout the year. These events include meetups, workshops, and we also run a lot of advocacy events with senators, congressmen with topics related to technology, immigration, and in fact, sometimes impact of geopolitical events on technology. We have hosted an impressive list of Indian dignitaries at our events in the last several years, and you will hear from one today as one of our main keynote speakers in a few minutes. We are looking to expand and get new members and volunteers, so I encourage you to get involved in the Gitpro community. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced person, you can always find something to learn at Gitpro and from the people here. So if you're looking to enhance your skills, connect with like-minded professionals, or simply learn about new technologies, Gitpro is the perfect place for you. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Let me now introduce you to Ms. Gitpro's founding member and convener, Mr. Khanderao Khan, who will talk about his vision of Gitpro and finally introduce you to our main keynote speaker. So without any further ado, Mr. Khanderao.
Okay, good morning. So how many of you coming first time? Okay, many of you. So this year is a special year. We are doing after COVID, and this is also vacation season, and it's a holiday started, and this is a long weekend. How many of you having long weekend? Hats off to all of you, because a lot of people had pre-planned trips and they went out and they sent regret that, hey, we didn't know, conference came late, but now we had the pre-planned thing. So good that all of you came. I will be introducing in a couple of minutes when Honorable IT Minister comes online. I will introduce and then we'll formally start. The program, the first session is a keynote. This is a 30 minutes, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes keynote, and followed by 2 to 3 questions. And after that, we'll disperse and we'll go into respective 3 tracks. So these tracks is a ballroom B. AI ML is going to be here. Then my right side is a track A. Trending technologies are going to be there. And my left side, which is ballroom C, where startup bootcamp is going to be there. So today's, if you see, I don't know how many of you have seen the agenda. Okay, so there is a QR code. You scan it, you should get the agenda. But you can see that mostly in this particular track is going to be AI, and that to focus on generative AI and its applications. In the trending technologies, we have blockchain, data platforms. Many places there is a usage of AI in those technologies also. We have IoT related, and we also have low code, which is also getting much more popular. And with this chat GPT, I think it will be more no code, from low code to no code. It may happen. So that's, and then Startup Bootcamp is a very interesting program. And we are having from ideation to exit. Ideation, then various legal aspect from forming the company till exit. That's the second part. Lean startup methodology, how to build the startup, make sure that you try first, try repeatedly, fail fast, pivot, learn, and get to the success path much quicker. So that is the lean startup methodology. Then we are also having learning from serial entrepreneur. So Muddu Sudhakar is like a third exit, and learn from how to do the ideation. Lots of ideas come, but how to find out the right idea and build your startup around that. We also have a session around the pitching investment related aspect. And then we'll have a panel, successful entrepreneurs, VCs, investors. They would be sharing their lesson learned in the panel. Then most important in a startup is actually investment, raising money. So pitching, so angel investor and now serial entrepreneur Anshu Sharma is going to handle that. So that's a start to exit. It's a very interesting and full complete life cycle startup bootcamp that is focused. Now, why we do startup bootcamp is uh, this time frame, because when the market is down, that's the time. If you can build a team, even though it is a whether it's a and there will be a lot of talents available, and build the team. There is no market pressure to get the products out. But when the market comes up, you will be ready with your product and you can be able to launch it. So many times it's a perfect opportunity. Even hiring, like say last year, it was very difficult to hire. At Amazon, we used to pay even for SD2s with 4 years experience, 400K, 450K was very common. Of course, now this year we're not even hiring. So time changed. Those people would be available now. You can hire, you can build. So that's why startup bootcamp. You may think that this is a very difficult time why we are doing the startup. So think about that. So that is the complete time frame that we have. So we'll just do the time check on the our team. Dharmiji, where is Dharmiji? Okay, is it on IT Minister side? Hmm? This camera also should be. Hmm? It will be on. What are you doing? You don't want this, right? And just intro slide. Just intro slide. His IT Minister slide. First slide is there, right? No, we don't have that. His slide is not. No. Then get slide. Just hold on. No, you want to take minute, right? No, Gitpro World perform. Okay. So what do you want? You do that and pin him when he comes. Okay. Is he online now? So I have to log in. Yeah, that's what I was waiting. on the project. And now, not yet, but the IT minister joined. So it's okay. Yeah, we can start. Very good. Yeah. Now you can get. Okay. So he joined, right? Hello and good morning. Welcome everybody. Um, on behalf of Gitpro, Global Indian Technology Professionals Association, I welcome all of you for Gitpro World Conference, that is 2023. It is our 8th annual conference and it is first after the COVID. We had a long gap. As usual, Gitpro focuses on the emerging technologies and trends. Currently, it is artificial intelligence. So today's conference is on artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and entrepreneurship. In this conference, we are having 33 speakers, 26 topics in 3 different tracks: AI track, emerging technologies, and startup bootcamp. The speakers are having diverse background. We are having 11 serial entrepreneurs, 3 VCs, 13 senior technology professionals and leaders, and 6 data scientists and architects. Today, we are very fortunate to have India's IT minister, electronics, IT and entrepreneurship minister, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, to address us. He needs no introduction, at least in the technology field. However, I would like to give succinctly some background. He is a technology professional himself, an entrepreneur, a successful one. Many of you may not know, but he did his master's from Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. He founded BPL Mobile, which was a successful telecom company in India, and he had a successful exit, almost $1 billion in 2005. Afterwards, he had started Jupiter Capital Investments at 100 million. Now it is at around 800 million total assets under its management. A very successful entrepreneur who jumped into politics to make a change, to make an impact in India. I wish that we have all of our member of parliaments with such a background. We will see a transforming India. So very fortunate to have him. He is Minister of State, Electronics, IT, Entrepreneurship, and he has also handled skills development. With this, I would like to welcome Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji to give his keynote address. Afterwards, we will take few questions. Those questions, they will be coming forward and we'll ask the questions. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it is good morning to all of you, and it is a late evening here in Goa, where I'm visiting on some political work on completing 9 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government, and so I'm obviously not the most appropriate background for this conversation, but I hope I'll be able to speak to you without any interruptions because of any other unforeseen internet incident. So thank you, first of all, for inviting me to speak. Mr. Kandirao Khan, thank you to Gitpro for organizing this event and this conversation around startups, AI, and emerging technologies. I think it's certainly appropriate that a group of Indian professionals are today engaging and talking about these 3 very important phenomena of the growth, the emergence and the growth of artificial intelligence, the greater cooperation between India and the US in critical emerging technologies, just as a precursor to the Honorable Prime Minister's visit to the US. And of course, the fast growing, accelerating startup ecosystem that India has built over the last few years. Look, the story of India over the last few years, especially in the tech ecosystem, I want to just start with that and give you a context, and then I shall, of course, share some of my views on what the government is doing in AI and emerging technologies. You know that in 2014, just 9 years ago, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji became Prime Minister and was swept in with a decisive mandate, any conversation around the digital economy or indeed the tech economy centered primarily around IT and ITES, the traditional businesses that form the backbone of India's digital economy for several years. It constituted about 4% of our total GDP and consisted of a number of companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, etc., that were doing stellar work, high quality work for the world's governments and world's enterprises. Over the last 9 years, that digital economy has since expanded, diversified. And currently, as you look back today in 2023 and look upon the digital economy in India, there isn't a slice or space in the tech sector that India is not present in, Indian entrepreneurs, Indian startups are not present in, whether it is semiconductors, microelectronics, AI, the blockchain and Web3, high performance computing, languages, and of course, IT, ITS, consumer internet, any part of technology that you today look at, there is significant presence and momentum by Indian startups, Indian enterprises, and Indian innovators. Over the last 5 years, 4 years in particular, during just before COVID, during COVID and post-COVID, the Indian innovation economy has grown from the 4%, 5% of 2014 to 10% today. And our target is that technology and the digital economy would be 20% of the total GDP, which also is growing at about 8%, 7.5% per annum by 25, 26. So 20% of our GDP, that will be about 5 trillion, amounts to $1 trillion. And that is the goal that we are working on. That is the mission that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government is focused on. In particular, since this conference is about artificial intelligence, let me quickly give you a glimpse into what our thoughts are, what our views are, what we are planning, what we are engaged in, and how we see this growing. AI at the outset, we consider as a kinetic enabler of the digital economy. We think it's a very, very important and valuable layer on the progress that has been made by our startups and innovation ecosystem over the last several years around the consumer internet and the data economy. And AI, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji described it about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, is AI for India and India AI. And we have branded the artificial intelligence programs and schemes and focus in India as India AI. And India AI, in a broad nutshell, consists of a partnership between the government on one hand, the large network of academic institutions on the other hand, startups and industry. And this partnership today is building out the building blocks of AI for the India AI, and starting with a collection and curation of one of the most diverse and largest collection of data sets ever available to the research and startup community in India, which is the India Datasets program. The other part of the India AI program that certainly is exciting and is certainly of relevance to those who are in this conference is the fact that there are 3 centers of excellence that are going to be funded by the government of India, are being funded by the government of India. And in this year's budget, there's $150 million that have been set aside to fund these 3 centers of excellence, which in turn will be hubs to a large collection of spokes around academic institutions, the universities and colleges and industry that want to engage with these hubs. And the areas of these centers of excellence are governance, which is, we think, consider that India had as being the preeminent country today in deploying technology in governance, will add to the India stack a layer of learning, a layer of artificial intelligence, deep layers, and it may turn out to be that may in turn be a mini stack on its own that will make decision making, governance much more granular, much more directed, much more intelligent, ranging from the design of schemes to the delivery of schemes. And this I say because one of the big stellar achievements of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has been, over the last 9 years, the use of technology, the use of technology and platforms to really transform governance in India from the dysfunctional, leaky, corrupt system of patronage and other forms of dysfunctionality for several decades into what is now a very directed way of reaching out, and a directed and trusted way of targeting citizens and making sure their benefits, pensions, and other government financial packages are delivered to them without leakage, without any delay, and directly to their bank account. It may sound trivial to some of you sitting there, but it is a significant transformation that has gone a long way in creating trust between government and citizen that did not exist for over 6.5 decades in what was then for that long a very leaky, corrupt subsidy and benefit delivery system. So to that, overall India stack that is gaining a tremendous amount of recognition from countries around the world, multilateral agencies around the world, and that played a significant role during the COVID pandemic in helping India fight the pandemic, detect disease, deliver vaccines to the entire population in a seamless, orderly manner, has gained a lot of attention and interest and awe and respect. And it is that platform, India Stack, that the one of the centers of excellence is focused on in embedding artificial intelligence and delivering much more intelligence governance systems that learn as they design and deliver schemes and benefits to the people all around the country. The other areas of focus for artificial intelligence certainly are healthcare, languages, because again, a country as diverse as India with so many spoken languages, dialects, it's extremely important that as we grow the internet, as we expand the internet from 830 million Indians that use the internet to 1.2 billion Indians that will use the internet by 2025, making India the largest connected nation on the global internet, that as we expand the internet, create more internet access, that content, services, products are inclusive, and therefore those who do not know English and do not know Hindi are still able to use the power of internet and empower their lives, transform their lives, and transform their businesses if that is the case. So the language part of it is again a very specific focus area. We have a Digital India Bhashini platform that is a language platform that is today a very advanced platform that does English to multiple languages and vice versa, speech to speech, real-time speech to real-time speech, voice to text, text to voice, optical character recognition, and the full range of abilities that will allow a non-English speaking Indian and a non-Hindi speaking Indian to also be participants on the internet and to have his or her life empowered by the internet. The third element of AI is the data management office, which is a function within the AI that will create anonymization standards to ensure that more and more data sets are available for our researchers and startups that are anonymized and that are stripped of their personal identifiers, because in India, data protection and personal information privacy are fundamental rights under Article 21. And therefore, it is important for us to balance the growth of AI on one hand and the need for increasingly diverse data sets and data for these compute platforms to crunch on, as well as protect the informational privacy of every Indian citizen. The fourth is a part of India AI is, apart from the language DI Bhashini that I already talked to you about, is the creation of AI compute infrastructure. And this has been something that American companies like ChatGPT and OpenAI and Google have been very successful in creating these tremendous amount of AI compute capacity, which has made their models train faster and learn faster. And that is something that we are building urgently in a private-public partnership mode. And we have companies like Intel, IBM, all very keen to partner with India and Indian entrepreneurs and Indian startups and Indian industry to create these AI compute platforms. And from the government standpoint, we have an organization called the CDAC, the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, that is anchoring India's charge into the AI compute space. And the last element of this India AI scheme or the program or the architecture is the fact that under the India Semiconductor Mission, the Semicon initiative of the Government of India, we are financing and funding and encouraging startups that are designing the next generation of AI compute devices, the chips that will power AI compute platforms of the future. And we have almost 28 startups that have applied to the Government of India and have been more or less, in many of them, more or less supported, approved and supported. So we have a large burgeoning semiconductor and AI compute device design ecosystem that is also flourishing in India at the current moment. So this is broadly what our view on India AI is, and I will not get into the specifics of whether we are going to get to AGI and whether we're going to human reasoning and which path the research will take us. I don't want to second guess the gurus of AI that today speak volumes and eloquently on public platforms, Sam Altman to Elon Musk. And I think everybody today is wading into this conversation of what the future of AI will be. I certainly don't want to get into that. I think we are very comfortable in creating an enabling framework for AI and AI innovation, where that will lead and how our innovators will help shape the future of AI, time will tell. As far as regulation of AI is concerned, we are certainly very conscious of the fact that AI can be deeply disruptive. It can cause harm as much as it causes good, which is really the phenomenon, which is the characteristic of the overall internet. And we have taken a broad decision that we will not regulate use cases in AI, and our approach will be about regulating user harm. And therefore, our overall framework of regulating intermediaries and those platforms on the Indian internet is less to do with what use cases and what services and products they deliver, but to ensure that they do not stray into and the platforms do not enable the creation or provision of user harm. So the prism through which we will regulate AI is a prism of user harm. Those are broad, strong principles that have gained reasonable traction within the community of startups and other stakeholders in the broader digital economy, and that is the direction that we will undertake. I can go on and on. This is obviously a topic that I can go on and on, but you should certainly not allow me to ramble on this topic. It is, as you can very well understand, it's an area that we are all very passionate about. Our Prime Minister has given us very clear leadership for India to be a leader, if not a leader, amongst the leading nations of the world in working together with other like-minded nations, like-minded countries, in shaping the future of tech in general, shaping the future of these defining techs like artificial intelligence and these critical emerging technologies like semiconductor, compute, automobile, and wireless. In all of those areas, that we should be partnering with the like-minded countries and helping shape the future of tech in a way that people from all around the world, including open communities and societies and democracies, all benefit from the future of tech, and that it is no longer the preserve of just one nation or one company or a few companies or a few political systems. So I think I will leave it at that. I thank you again for inviting me to speak. I hope I've been able to share some of our thoughts of what is going on in India, and I certainly look forward your thoughts and comments over the coming days and months and years as we, as in India, move forward to take to make take full benefit of these emerging opportunities and this growing innovation ecosystem, not just for ourselves as a nation and our own people, but for the benefit of humanity in general and for all countries and all peoples in particular. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Jayan.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Raju Chandrasekhar ji. While hearing you, I got a feeling that with diverse knowledge and also the depth, that one among us is actually leading this portfolio. You have the same lingo, same depth, and probably more what leading Silicon Valley experts may have. So we are very happy to see that. Would be inviting couple of people who are going to ask the questions. Before that, I have one question that as Prime Minister Modi ji starting his historic state visit from tomorrow, one of the thing on the agenda, if I understand correctly, is going to be initiative on critical and emerging technologies, ISET. Under ISET, there are very diverse, very appropriate and important initiatives are there. I have a question that whether quantum computing, whether fabs, like because America under CHIPS Act is also investing a huge into the creating a alternative to global dominance of China. So are these initiatives, first is quantum computing, another is that the fab, and third could be anything related to drones that is on the agenda?
No, look, I certainly will not be able to share with you what is on the Honorable Prime Minister's agenda in this particular visit, and I think that is that will unveil and unfold itself as the state visit commences and continues. But I can certainly say that India today is dealing with multiple partnerships in the area of emerging technologies. And one of the principal partnerships, apart from the EU, is the one with the US. The ISET is a broad framework that creates a very, very strong basis for India and US to work together and shape the future in a lot of ways of these emerging technologies. And the word emerging here is extremely critical because it is about the future of computing and quantum computing. It is about the future of semiconductor innovation. It is the future of electronics and trusted supply chains. And it is, it is really about everything in technology today that we believe is in the future. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji refers to the coming decade as a decade of technology opportunities. And I think ISET and this partnership between India and US can play a very significant role in shaping the future of the decade and the contours of the decade.
Hi, I'm in Dhaval Shah. I'm a Bay Area resident. Thank you very much for your wonderful talk. And you took us through various points and very systematically. Thank you again. Like Khande Rao said, we feel you are one of us. And the question I had was about, NRIs over here, we participate in various ways. We do direct investment into India. We come there, network. What are some of the things we sitting here, other win-wins you'd see from us, other than, of course, these conferences like Gitpro and other things? What are some other points you can share about a win-win sitting here?
So I really haven't thought about that too thoroughly. So I don't think I can give you a very exhaustive answer, but I can certainly say one thing. And one of the things that I say this from personal experience because during the recent layoffs by some of the big tech companies in the US, I did a number of video conferences with some of those who were impacted by that, and I gave them a good sense that I think for many who are starting out or who are let's say, who have done one stint in the US and are looking at their next step, I would certainly urge through you and, for all of those who have your own networks and ability to influence, that India is certainly a place that they should look at starting something, doing something India-based. And I'll give you one classic example of how this is playing out in multiple ways and multiple times. Jim Keller, who's the chief AI architect of Tesla and a very reputed name in the field of semiconductor and AI compute and AI, recently set up 2 startups. And he didn't set up the startups in the Silicon Valley. He didn't set it up in anywhere else. He set them up in Bangalore. And he did that because the talent and a large number of those people in his startup relocated from the US. So I think, if anything, I think that's one message that you can give to those who are looking at really cutting edge opportunities to come and try and experience, enjoy the experience or have the experience of building something India-based for the world. So that is one thing. The other thing, look, I think, this ambition, reimagined ambition of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji needs continuous support from all of you there. We are really trying under his leadership to build a new vision for India, take it in a direction that we never imagined was ever possible. And so therefore, as Indians and as people with a heart beating for India, I certainly think any support you can give in any form, even if it is thinking good for India and praying good for India, that is also welcome. And that is something that I would always urge people to be backing us as we climb this mountain and try and become a developed nation, as the Prime Minister exhorts us to do.
Hello, Honorable Minister. My name is Mudhu Sudhakar. Thanks for sharing your thought. It was very insightful for me, at least, hearing your views. One question is, can you drill down on what companies are you partnering with in US? At least because the people in this audience, we're all from Silicon Valley. And I know you mentioned Infosys and Wipro. I see them as a large incumbents than really driving the change, because they have more to lose through AI than helping. I don't know if you have that view or not. The view in Silicon Valley is the incumbents usually will create more of a friction than help the AI adoption. With that assumption.
Yeah, so I never mentioned Infosys and Wipro in the context of AI. I just mentioned Infosys and Wipro in the context of traditional IT companies that dominated the digital economy pre-2014. Certainly today, the companies that are hard charging and leading the pack, if you want to call it that, in AI and other cutting edge emerging technologies are all first generation young startups that are present in Hyderabad, Bengaluru, all over the country. So for example, artificial intelligence, I can read off the back of my hands 28 companies, 29 companies that are doing really cutting edge work in artificial intelligence, various spaces, languages, learning models. So it's certainly the case that more and more young engineers who are either postgraduate master students in IITs or other universities are choosing to directly jump into and get into these new areas and build franchises and companies. For example, in the whole semiconductor design space, AI compute device design space, there are so many, as in I'm not saying hundreds and thousands, but there are so many youngsters who have created startups which the government is actively supporting and funding. So that is the point I wanted to make. As far as the American companies that we are working with, every American company today that is in the tech space has a back office or an R&D center or a global capability center in India. And whether it's the Intels or the IBMs or the Qualcomms or the TIs or the NXPs, every company is basically open to partner with us, and we are open to partner with them. But the ecosystem and the partnership model is a partnership between government, a large company, foreign or Indian, startups, and academia. These are the 4 poles of our partnership model in all of these areas of emerging technologies.
Hi, My name is Balaji. Thanks for the keynote as speaker here for taking the time to talking to us here in San Jose State University. We appreciate the time you're taking from India. One of the questions that we have here is, given the success of UPI, right, and the payments infrastructure in India, which is so pervasive, are there any plans to actually make it a global payment infrastructure? We saw the Saudi Arabia news, but is there anything broader than that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the India stack, of which the identity authentication piece, the Aadhaar is one layer, the payment UPI is another layer, and then we have the storage and DigiLocker piece another, and there are multiple applications that sit on the stack. There is health, there is education, there is skilling, there is all kinds of other layers, including security, and then like I said in my talk, that we will also be bringing in artificial intelligence into that. So India stack has been, as it's organized now, is now under the G20 presidency of India, being offered to many countries that have, in a sense, lagged the digitization, that have lagged behind other nations on digitalization, or just couldn't afford it. And it has been the case for several years and decades that the digital space, especially for governments, has been a discourse or a narrative about haves and have-nots. So the countries that could build these expensive systems have invested billions of dollars and built them, and large number of LMICs and the global South countries, especially the smaller ones in Africa and other places, have just not been able to afford it. In the India stack, because it's built on an open source platform, is now being increasingly offered under the G20 presidency of India and beyond as a global DPI, digital platform infrastructure. So this is being offered to countries. We just had a global summit in Pune where 8 countries have signed up and have signed MOUs with India to transfer those technologies, including payment, to their countries, and have Indian startups and their startups work together to implement them. So this is part of our commitment. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we say, as a part of our G20 presidency, the world is one family. India is very interested in ensuring that every country, including those in the global South and those who are small, low, middle income countries, also ride this digitization wave that is sweeping the country, sweeping the world, and not be held back because of lack of resources or the need to pay billion-dollar contracts with these system integrators from the West. So that is extremely an ongoing process. And I think as a consequence of this global adoption, the UPI will evolve into a global payment gateway from what it was originally envisaged to be, which is a domestic payment gateway.
So this is the last question, because even though it is almost 10 o'clock night in the India, I know that Honorable Minister also have another session just after this one. So this is the last question.
Khandera Sahab, thank you very much for putting this platform together where we could connect with the Honorable Minister. My name is Upendra Giri, and I was mesmerized with your insights, inputs, and inspirations at not at Pravasi, but the Investment Summit in Uttar Pradesh. I took PMI to India 20 years back and did a wonderful job in setting up the foundation for Project BEM. My question is that today I'm aspiring to set up sustainability company in India, and data is not necessarily available to that level. What are your thoughts, sir? And could I get some traction when I'm aspiring a 30 years of experience in environmental engineering from US? Can I get some traction in India if there is traction, or is just the talk about sustainability, climate change? Thank you.
Look, I can assure you about one thing. What our Prime Minister does not waste his time in just talking. What he talks about, what he sets as goals, he backs up with effort, and he ensures that that it's done. So sustainability is not just some fashionable term for us in India. It is an article of faith. It is deeply derived from and embedded into our culture and heritage. We believe that development and sustainability are not binaries. We think that development and sustainability, and this is not anything to do with G20 or any recent discovery on our part. It is something that is deeply embedded into the Indian psyche and Indian culture. And so therefore, these are very serious. When we talk about sustainability, we are very serious and deeply committed to it. Now, I particularly I'm not particularly clear about what it is that you seek from the government. I can only request you that if there's an ask of you for you to do something in India, feel free to send me an email. I'm more than happy to direct you to the parts of the government that can help you navigate whatever it is that you are proposing to do in India. We certainly would welcome you with whatever you have. And if it is not very obvious and clear to you whom to approach, feel free to reach out to me and I will certainly navigate the government for you.
Thank you, Honorable IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekharji. There is one more hand. No other lady has asked questions, so I would request. Can it be brief?
Cover South Asians in the US. Oh, hi. Hi, I'm Ritu. I'm the founder of Indica News. We cover South Asians in the US. So my question is about our PM is coming for the historic state visit. Are you coming along with him? Do we expect anything on the IT infrastructure, MOU and semiconductor? Everybody from the Silicon Valley and many companies are looking forward to it. Do we expect any information or MOU on that? Yeah.
Look, no, I am not accompanying the Honorable Prime Minister. So I'm here in India, and this particular moment I'm in Goa. In terms of what will be announced and what will be rolled out during his historic visit, the details you will hear when you have to hear it as they are announced by our government. But I can certainly say that regardless, this is a harbinger of great potential. This partnership between India and the US can truly, I'm extremely confident about it, can truly play a deep deciding role in shaping the future of tech in semicon, in many areas. So I am as excited about it as you are. I certainly will be patient and wait with you for the details to be announced as his visit progresses. But we can all be in agreement this is a very historic and important visit for both nations.
Thank you. I would like to formally thank Honorable Electronics and IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekharji for sparing his time, that too in the evening, and sharing his all these facts and also the direction. So we are very proud of your work and happy the direction that you are setting up. Sir, on behalf of Silicon Valley Indian American, we'd like to invite you to Silicon Valley. You were supposed to come here, it got cancelled. We are awaiting you, and when you are here, we'd like to
not cancel, postponed.
We'd like to host you here in person.
I will. I'll certainly look forward to visiting and dropping and seeing all of you. And thank you again for hosting me today. Thank you.
So now there is a 15 minutes of break, and we will disperse into 3 sessions. Ballroom A, which is on my right side, is going to have trending technologies, emerging and trending technologies.